hour. Now, don't forget, you can listen to Good Things. We are streaming live over at supertalk.fm. We're also streaming from that SuperTalk Mississippi app and your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station. You can watch us, too. We are on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. And today we get to hear about the inaugural Vicksburg Hipstoric Art Festival, where hip art meets historical setting. Sounds like a good time. Joining us today is artist H.C. Porter to tell us a little bit more. Hey, H.C.
Good afternoon, Rebecca. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Oh, I think this is a great thing, and I love the kind of tag where hip art meets historical setting, because you can definitely have both in one event, and it sounds like you guys are gearing up to do that. So with this being the first year that y'all are having the Arts Festival in Vicksburg, how did it come about? What was sort of the spearheaded it to do it?
Well, if you're familiar with what was the Ridgeland Arts Festival for 15 years, I was the sort of artist producer behind that event. So I worked with Visit Ridgeland to help pull that event together. We brought artists in from all over the country to celebrate the arts, and unfortunately they ran into some scheduling conflicts after 15 years. So my new hometown, I'm originally a Jacksonian, but my new hometown of Vicksburg said, well, we want to do it. So that was a year and a half ago. So this event has been in the works for quite a while, and we are racing to the finish line.
And getting it prepared.
Starts bringing the artists in next Friday, the 26th. They'll set up all day. We'll have the grand sort of big block party Friday night from 5 until 9, downtown Vicksburg, as you mentioned. Hip art in a historic setting, so kind of a perfect place, perfect venue to bring the arts, sort of a new arts event to Mississippi.
You know, when people think about these events that they go to, they don't think about all the things that go on behind the scenes. When I hear you say it's been in the works for a year and a half after the city of Vicksburg, and I'm sure others were like, yes, let's do it. Right. What all does it take to pull something like this off? I think for those of us who have been to the Ridgeland Arts Festival over, in years past, You know how many tents were out there. You know how much foot traffic came along sort of with it during that time. But not so much about what all the logistics look like behind the scenes to make this, possible and enjoyable for everyone.
Well, as an artist myself, I had a studio on Millsaps Avenue for 21 years. My home was Belhaven. So I also participated in large outdoor juried arts festivals around the country. So my experience was in these types of events. So I just looked at one that's going on this weekend in Kansas City. They've been producing this arts festival for 90 years.
Wow.
Not 19, but for 90 years. So we're a little bit behind the ball here trying to get an arts festival started. But with it being an outdoor juried event, artists have to apply well in advance. So these are professional artists that participate in these types of shows that have high-end quality work, just like we brought to Ridgeland. But we have a panel of jurors that look at their work beforehand, and unfortunately there's yay or nay, so better luck next year kind of a thing. And we invite those artists to come. We bring them into the city in an orderly fashion. We work with the state, with the city of Vicksburg, all the different department heads to pull that off. We've been working with Visit Vicksburg to help promote the event, not just to the state, but to the region. And then we're working also with Main Street Vicksburg that does the sort of nuts and bolts of our beautification of downtown. And if you hadn't been here in a while, come experience Vicksburg. This is a perfect way to sort of get your Vicksburg and your art on. We've got 3 stages of music as well, so we're going to have music all day, 5 to 9 on Friday. Saturday also from 10 until 5, they'll be shopping with the artists, arts activities for the kids. We have food trucks. And I'll tell you one other exciting thing that's been in the planning stages for quite a while and it's something called the Mint Julep Trail.
Yes, sign me up.
So exactly, right. We have 11 different restaurants and bars that are going to produce a sample signature mint julep. So it's basically going to be a pub crawl art hop. So you can enjoy your football games indoors, outdoors. We'll have music and art, and people can hop along the Mint Julep Trail too. So we're trying to think of ways to really create an all-in-one experience of the arts for the weekend.
H.C. Porter, as an artist yourself, as you just said, you've gone to many of these outdoor festivals or just festivals in general. What does it mean to the artist to have these opportunities and for people to come out and support when a community puts forth a year and a half worth of effort to bring top-notch artists and think it through from top to bottom?
Well, I remember what they always said about Ridgeland's experience as well, that from the artist's point of view, that we're knowledgeable about the arts, and that we're, of course, so welcoming of anyone that's going to come into our home, our town, right? So the artist's experience, they're always looking, of course, to make a living, but it also makes a difference as to what their experience is when they get there. So, we're going to have our best foot forward. The patrons are going to be willing to learn. They're going to want to know the different processes that the artists are bringing. We not only have just painters, there's 10 different categories of art. So as with Richland, there'll be glass, clay, woodworking, 3D, sculpture, 2D, mixed media. So the opportunity for the community and the region to meet artists, be inspired personally as artists, or if you look around and you go, hey, oh my gosh, honey, we've been waiting to find a piece for that spot over our mantle, right? Come on out, enjoy the different types of work that are going to be presented by these nationally recognized, in some cases, award winners that are winning different shows all over the country. There'll be opportunity, too, to purchase from jewelers. They'll have things could make wonderful, whether it's an anniversary gift or if people are considering shopping early for Christmas, this is a great time to find something unique, too. So as an artist, yes, it's always sort of a crapshoot, right? I'm going to go from where, Michigan or Florida to Mississippi. So we want them to have the best experience that we can offer them. There's also a juried aspect to the show once they get here. They're not only juried to be in, but they're juried, and our juror is Stephanie Busby, the dean at Mississippi College. We'll be giving out $7,000 in prize money.
Ooh.
So you guys come cheer on. We have a Best in Show winner that'll get $2,000 and then 10 $500 awards. We're presenting, as part of the show, the Eudora Welty movie. It's going to be the one that was produced by Robert St. John and Anthony and Amy Thaxton at Mississippi College at their Storytellers experience there. They put this movie together. I think it's been out about a year and a half. But we're excited to show that at our historic downtown theater, The Strand, on Saturday night as part of the event. So we're pulling lots of things out of our hat to help people enjoy not only the arts, but Vicksburg.
Sounds like a wonderful event, H.C. Porter. I know that you have your gallery there in downtown Vicksburg now. Will you guys be open, or will you move it to a tent if people want to come out and see you?
It's exciting. Yes, I have been here almost 20 years downtown, and I'm fortunate to live upstairs in my building, but I will not be able to have a tent, unfortunately, because from what I shared several months ago, I had a vehicle fire on my way to Des Moines, Iowa, and I lost all of my artwork, my original paintings, and my display. My art tent and my walls and my art crates and all that were lost to the fire on June 23rd. So I am still rebuilding my personal ability to do art festivals, but the gallery will be here, and we're featuring a show called The Legacy Show, which is also exciting because
H.C. Porter, can you hang with us?
A show right now.
Can you hang with us through the break? I would love to know about your show. Okay,
Yeah.
We've got more with H.C. Porter and the Hipstoric Art Festival that's coming to Vicksburg, coming up next station. You can watch us too. We are on that computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV, and we hope you head on over to Vicksburg coming up next weekend for their inaugural Vicksburg Historic Art Festival. It's where hip art meets the historical setting. H.C. Porter's putting it on, and she's with us today, but she's also got her gallery there, H.C. Porter Gallery, for 20 years in downtown Vicksburg. And while you may not get one of her unique pieces today or this next weekend, you can still come to the gallery and enjoy what she's got going. So, H.C. Porter, what is in the gallery right now that you're still showing the world in terms of art?
Well, one exciting part of this event, we have such a legacy of artists in Vicksburg, of course, much like Jackson, but we reached out to those families that had mothers and sisters or grandmothers that painted through the years, some with notable work, even family members like Andrew Bucci, of course. Jacksonians will know his name. Kenneth Humphrey. We have Caroline Compton pieces in the gallery because we did a celebration of the legacy artists that have gone before to sort of set the stage for the arts in Vicksburg. And that's a show of 10 of those artists are in the gallery right now. We had a big opening last night, and it'll run through the Hipstoric Arts Festival weekend. So when you're on the street and you get to the 1200 block, just zip in. There'll be a sign outside that says Hipstoric Legacy Show.
Like everything else, whether it's culinary, because that's part of arts too, HC, or, painting and all this, Vicksburg has its own style, should I say, flavor, or I guess when it comes to art of those legacies, like is there something unique about all the artists who come from Vicksburg, if that makes sense?
It's very diverse, but it's all, of course, created with heart and storytelling, really. I mean, as Mississippians, we all love to talk and express in some way, so I think that is what you'll experience when you see this work. And last night in the gallery, we had the opportunity to invite all the family members that are living to come in and see their grandmothers or whatever work. And it was just an absolute buzz of pride, to see some work like the Kenneth Humphreys pieces hanging next to some that was just more of an enjoyment for them. But it really makes for kind of the groundwork for the arts in Vicksburg. As you said, the culinary, the visual, being on the river. We have an influence of the river, and of course that's where the Mint Julep Trail has come from, because we're in the running as the creators of the Mint Julep. Who knew, right? We have the Mint Springs Bayou, where the flatboaters would sip their libations and grab a little mint right there on the side of the riverbed. And so that was the inspiration to bring that part of the event into this arts festival, too.
You made Vicksburg your home, you mentioned maybe 2 decades ago. Was there a prior connection to Vicksburg for you, H.C. Porter, or did it just call your name and you just decide that is where you wanted to put up shop, this part of your life?
That is an excellent question. My studio, having been on Millsaps Avenue, and my home in Belhaven, really close, right? What is that, 1.5 miles, 2 miles? I always needed something that was in my studio that was at home, or something at home that was in my studio. So I had in the back of my mind looking for a place that would allow me to live and work in the same building. So I'm fortunate. I found this great building right on Washington Street. I live upstairs. So now I'm more like a hamster. I get to go upstairs and downstairs. I go up to eat and come down to work. My studio's here. So having the history of Vicksburg, I didn't know it until I bought the building. My mother said, "Here," and handed me a book of old photographs, her side of the family. I have a relative that was a city alderman here in the 1900s. I have a relative that was actually a riverboat painter here. His work hangs in the old courthouse museum. So there were deep roots that, because everybody had already passed, I have relatives in the cemetery here, but I didn't know any of them. So there is a connection, and I can feel it when I walk to the courthouse because my relatives, my great-grandfather's name is on the old courthouse cornerstone, which brings a bit of pride and nostalgia. I often wonder if he would have walked into my building, because it was a shoe store at one point in its origin. So I'm assuming he had to come in to buy shoes.
Hopefully, he came in to buy shoes. Every man needs a good pair of shoes,
Right,
and everybody needs a
exactly.
good piece of art. So I feel like that is something that
Right.
they would have done. H.C. Porter, Rhino, and I during the break were fantasizing about the life of an artist. You were mentioning,
Right.
Minnie, you get to sit in your workshop in your studio, and you get to create these wonderful pieces, and then travel the world and go to these festivals. And it seems so romantic. So tell me the real life hard part of it, because I'm wanting to go back and take art class now, because it seems like a very charmed journey of life.
Well, it's very competitive, for one thing. These shows are juried, so you have to compete maybe for 100 spots, 150 spots, against 2,000 artists from all over the country, and they're all extremely talented. So, one, you never know. So it's very competitive, just like any other profession. And then you have to know how to read a map really well, right? You got to get where you're going. And then you have to, unfortunately, unlike a musician, you don't have roadies that travel with you. So it's all on you to pull it out, roll it out of the trailer, get it set up, and then spend 2 or 3 days sharing your work with the public, which has always been just my absolute pleasure. And that's one thing about bringing the arts to an outdoor event. People, it's accessible to people. They can come in their shorts and their flip-flops, which it'll still be the end of September, so we know it'll be warm. But they can ask questions of the artists themselves that are there. It's unlike a gallery where you might feel intimidated to go in. You're not really sure of the environment. But this way, you can interact, learn things that you might not ever even thought about, be exposed to art in a wonderful way. So, and also, of course, with the Mint Julep Trail, we found that we have enough hunters and fishermen in our town and our state. But if we give them enough alcohol, they might also find some culture. So that's what we're counting on.
Well,
we can bring.
It sounds wonderful, and it does sound like very open and inviting. And I love hearing that artists welcome those questions, because I would be one that would be curious. And I think too, just sharing that even if you go in and you have questions and you're interested, it's okay. Even if you walk away and maybe didn't purchase something, you may not this time, but you may, next time. And that's part of what they're there for, is to interact and help you, learn and sort of better understand. Would that be fair too?
Absolutely. And again, we welcome everybody, whether you are interested in purchasing something or just being inspired as an artist, or you want your grandkids to enjoy the art activities. There'll be food trucks. But again, we haven't really mentioned as much about the music. There's 3 stages of music. So if you can get online and go to Hipstoric Art Festival.com, not historic, but hip art, historic setting. Downtown, you'll see, hopefully they have it up already, the music lineup for the 3 different stages. So it should be a wonderful way to keep us all entertained and watch the kids and enjoy the arts.
Do you know if there's like a check off that you got every mint julep, and is there a prize for that?
That's something we haven't considered. And we also tried to encourage the restaurants and the bars to do a sample so that we could, get everybody home or to their hotel or their local Airbnb and bed and breakfast, safely. So we did not consider a prize.
Like a scavenger hunt.
Point.
You probably don't need one. That's probably, but at least laid out to where they all are. I'm sure it's all on the website.
Yep, we have that. And each restaurant, it lists the other, 10 other sections, so they're all numbered, where to go. Of course, Rusty's and 10 South and Key City, all the way out to Cedar Grove, one of the bed and breakfasts, Walnut Hills. We're all going to be hopping around. I just hope I can keep my brother-in-law, who has volunteered to help his time, I can keep him off the trail long enough to help with the parking details.
Oh, I'm sure you will. I'm sure it will go great. It's going to be the perfect weekend. This will be the inaugural, but next year H.C. Porter will have you back, and you'll be talking about doing it all over again. And, I hope we both see her when y'all hit 90 years, like the one in Kansas. So
that just gave me chills, Rebecca, just to even think about it, having that sort of legacy. And we can make this really be a special part of the year for the arts in Mississippi.
Well, I love it, and I'm here for it each year. Y'all keep doing it. So I appreciate your time and what you're doing there in Vicksburg. Folks get out and should support it, so I encourage that.
All right. Thank you so much. Hipstoric. Yes. Yay, Hipstoric.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. All right, you guys stick with us. We got more for you coming up.